Hi, my name is Scott Gallagher, and I was a service manager for an award-winning new car dealership. I'm not so much a car salesman, but I have purchased over 50 cars in my life. We're going to talk about buying your very first car. You want to determine the price that you can afford. When you're talking about a price you can afford, definitely look at the budget that you live within. You have to take in some considerations when we're looking at a budget as well. We have to think about not only the car insurance, and the fuel. So we need to really take a hard look at what we want to purchase in regard to whether we need to haul, whether we want to have a family vehicle, or whether or not we're just after fuel economy and general transportation. As we look at the prices of a car, we have to also determine how much we can afford. So if you can expect to pay $25 for every 1,000 borrowed for a 48-month loan. Finance charges are something that you should probably check into yourself. When you go to a car dealership, a lot of times they're going to try and give you someone that has a little bit higher interest rate than what you might be able to typically get on your own. So when you go in, research ahead of time so that you know what kind of finance charges may be applied to the kind of vehicle you're buying. There are also going to be other things you're going to have to consider. The state that you live in, the sales tax for each county may be different. You have registration fees, title fees. The dealer may have charges for processing, and car insurance is definitely something to look at. Some cars may be considered to be more sporty, higher risk, and may cost you even hundreds of dollars more per month just for insurance coverage. Fuel economy is really something to look at because the price of fuel appears to be going up. And maintenance, the labor rate is skyrocketing. You can't afford to pay someone to do labor. You definitely want to try and find a good vehicle that you can afford with all these in mind. Do some research as you're looking for these vehicles as well. Look at your dealerships and compare the same car. When you compare a car from one dealership to the other, it can be the same manufacturer, but they may have a higher rating for customer satisfaction. If they have a high rating for customer satisfaction, they're obviously taking care of their customer. When you buy a new car, you're less likely to have new car expenses like normal repairs that others may incur because of it being used and worn out. Depending on what kind of car you buy new, it can have 1 year, 3 year basic. It can go up to 7 years, 100,000 miles. There are different warranties that are out there. You need to pay attention because they also will have limitations on what they're going to cover. Today's vehicles, though, tend to have good fuel economy and they have a lot of safety features that are in place on a car. For years, I worked as a volunteer firefighter and worked on the emergency squad. That was early on before airbags were even invented, or at least in the regular marketplace for new vehicles. And we have more safety features where the cars are able to collapse and absorb the impacts. Take a look at what cars are recommended for their safety features and are ranked high. If you had a priceless heirloom, you're not going to just put it in a box and ship it away. You want to try and protect it the best you can. You and your family are the most important thing that we can be looking at. So you definitely want to take a look at the safety features of a vehicle. When you're looking at a used vehicle, there can be a lot of things that you need to take a look at. Some vehicles are fleet, which means they were from a rental company or big corporation. They may not be, as well taken care of as other vehicles. Once again, you want to take a look at the insurance rates because some of these vehicles may be, at a higher risk. And some other things that you may want to consider along with the insurance rates are vehicles that tend to have, low maintenance cost associated with them. So, definitely do your research as you're looking into buying a used vehicle. Another good thing to do when buying a used vehicle is, check for things that might be kind of hidden. They may paint over areas of damage. A vehicle could be in a wreck, in a flood, and some vehicles even have salvage titles, which can be purchased at a very cheap rate, but you don't know what all they were involved in. Especially, like to say, if you're dealing with flooding, those are things that can just have haunting issues inside of the drivetrain. And like to say, older vehicles tend to lack safety features, and if something happens to them, there's a lot of expense in repair. You can check the VINs. The VINs can give you a lot of history about what has happened with the vehicle, if it was ever stolen, if there are any recalls. And when you're buying from an individual, you have to take some precautions. This day and age, you want to meet in a nice, well-lit public place. Normally, people are saying, I have to work late. I can't get there till later on and it's dark. Like to say, you want to pick a nice lit public place to meet with an individual. You want to ask a lot of questions. You want to check out the vehicle the best you can. And if possible at all, you'd like to take it to a garage where someone that you know or trust would raise it up on a hoist, give you a chance to inspect the vehicle yourself and see if there's any hidden damage or wear items that can be noted. Especially oil leaks might be a real concern because they can be very costly. Try and take a nice drive where you're testing the vehicle for turns, braking. A lot of times you can look at a brake pedal and see if it's worn quite a bit. It tells you that someone's really been riding the brakes, or possibly that the vehicle may have more miles than you may be seeing on the odometer. Most odometers now, though, will show if it has over 100,000 miles, but things can be manipulated and you have to be cautious. And anything that's done like that is also illegal. When you talk about price negotiations, like to say, things are built into the price that you might be able to work with on a new vehicle. And a lot of times a used car person will have a price that they'd like to have, but they'd settle for something less. But also, don't let someone talk you into things that maybe aren't important to you, or don't let them try and sell you their insurance company or their finance company or their service contract. You want to decide yourself. You need to be in charge. And if things don't look good, if it doesn't look fair, and you even question that something's not right, it's best to walk away. When you're looking at the paperwork, you want to make sure you read all the paperwork closely so that you understand what you are getting for the money. You don't need to hurry. Most people try and get you in and out the door as quickly as possible. But this is your money. It's over a long period of time that you're going to have that loan. And the one thing that you really want to keep in mind is what that value of that car is going to be down the road. If something holds a value very well, that's the type of vehicle you want to stick with. If a vehicle is going to lose so much money over the course of the loan, it's probably going to cost you more money in the long run.